Hello everyone, this is Attorney Colin and I am reaching out to you in regards to a family law topic I want to discuss. It deals with divorce and how courts in the state of Illinois and some maybe other states would typically allocate or divide up the assets. So oftentimes individuals believe that assets are mine and in a divorce I get to keep it. Most of the time it comes down to when the asset was purchased. If it was purchased before the marriage, let's say a house or a car, you have a pretty strong claim in the state of Illinois for sure to say that, this premarital asset, I was able to put it together and gather it and pay for it or whatever prior to me getting married to this individual. Then you have a second issue dealing with marital asset, which was purchased during the marriage. So typically that's considered by default part of the marital estate. So you typically have to divide that 50-50 by law. Obviously, the parties are free to contract however they want. They can easily say, you know what, I don't want to go to court. You can have the house. I don't want it. Just let me keep the bank accounts and call it good. So these assets like a house, car, bank accounts, IRAs, all that stuff can be considered privy to a marriage, depending when it was purchased or accumulated. And also even premarital assets like a house. Let's say I bought this house before I got married. We've been in this house together for 15 years, and she's lived here with me. A good lawyer can argue that you are entitled to the appreciation of the property since you've been married because you've been living there, helping pay the mortgage or utility bills, and also keeping up the property, fixing it up and helping things like that. So, in situations in Illinois, they will allow that, sure, this mortgage and this title is in the husband's name, but the wife's involved for the last 10, 15 years, and we're going to give the appreciation of the property to her. Give her the part of the appreciation of the property, 50%, let's say. However, whatever the original value of the house up to the marriage is the husband's. And so that's how it works in Illinois. Illinois is like most jurisdictions. However, there are wild card jurisdictions, as I would call them. They're called community property states. They are mostly out west. California, a big one, Arizona, I believe Nevada, the Southwest, those states, New Mexico, have community property jurisdiction or stance in regards to marital property. It means assets, when you get married, are accumulated together, no matter if it's before or after, and debts as well. So that is a huge wild card when people get married in various states and live there and create assets there. It can, even though it's all in your name, came in purchased before the marriage, it can be considered part of the marriage in a community property state. And the person who's not on the title can still argue that I get 50% of it, and vice versa. This is where it gets really a lot of people is the debt. When you marry someone in these community property states, you're taking on their debt as well, even when you get divorced. So that's where it gets kind of iffy because, realistically, a lot of situations, people aren't as open and honest about their debts. Let's say I have $50,000 in credit card debts. We got married and, now we're a union and everything's considered together. And now you have 25% of the debt. Or you might be liable for $50,000, the whole 100%. It deals with joint and several liabilities. So joint means like together, or severally, which means separately. But it doesn't matter. If you have 50,000, I have none, they can go after you for all 50,000. That's this joint liability. Several liability, hey, you got 25, I'll go after him for the other 25. So that's very, very serious things for a lot of people to consider when they get married out in these community property states. Therefore, a prenuptial agreement is very vital. And there are requirements for that as well. But I would talk to an attorney. I repeat, I would talk to an attorney before you get married if there's a lot of assets involved. It's not as simple as, hey, my asset's mine, yours is yours. Things, when people break up, things can get messy and people can pull some fast ones on you, and realistically they can, by law, get a lot of your assets. Another thing dealing with, income, let's say I'm a stay-at-home mom, husband works. It's not as simple as I'm gonna continue working and she gets no income. There are things called alimony or spousal support or maintenance in the state of Illinois and many states where, this individual who's taking on the burden of being a housewife has taken a step back in her career, whereas the husband is out there working hard or vice versa and creating his future for himself when the wife assumes that's together. But when they break up, does the husband just get to go and do whatever he wants? Whereas before he had this opportunity to come home to a clean house, no housekeeping, you know, the wife's taking care of the kids, and you're able to totally focus on your career. It's a joint decision, right? In that scenario, most of the time. But the court consider it as a joint one. So they can make the husband pay whatever is equitable, otherwise known as fair, to kind of help the wife over a period of time, or maybe even indefinitely, depending on how long they have lived together. So that's also another asset. It's not an asset, but it's money that's going to be distributed a certain way. So those are all considerations, and those are very vital to a lot of divorce cases. These issues need to be hashed out, and it's very important to consider this even before you get married. And once you file for divorce, these are things that you're going to have to fight over, especially if neither side is willing to work with one another. Hello YouTube, I hope you enjoyed this content that we provide today, and if so, please slam the like button below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you get notification of future content. And also, don't forget to leave a comment or suggestion below in regards to this video or any other videos that you think you would like us to do, and we will be back with future videos. Thank you very much.